I'm the Director of Continuing Education, and we're here to talk about the furniture certificate and what that is. So welcome and thank you for coming. We have a few people here to help us talk about it. There's Annie, Program Director, and Joe Doucette is the admissions person that you talk to. And we have Joe Sheehan, Mitch Ryerson, and Stephen Thrasher, who will also be able to talk about different aspects of things. But Annie will do a presentation for us. And we are recording this so that we can send it to you afterwards and you don't have to take notes or think about what's going on. Just, sit back and listen and ask questions at the end of Annie's presentation. So Annie, please take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Annie Meyer. I'm the program director for the Furniture Certificate program. I'm actually recently returning to it after some years away, but I have worked in the program in the past, both as a coordinator and as faculty, and I'm super excited to be coming back to it. Let me share my screen. Oops. Okay, and we're actually in the middle of an exciting rewrite for our curriculum and making some really great updates. So I'll run you through a little bit about the program and there'll be plenty of time for question and answer in the end. We have some other faculty and alumni here as well who will also be available to answer questions. So, all right, can everyone see this presentation? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so you've probably seen this blurb from our website, so I won't read every word of it to you, but a little bit about the program. You start learning some essential skills in woodworking and furniture building. You go from there to learn some design skills. Your projects build in complexity as you go. You have the opportunity to add a number of electives if you want to branch out into other media aside from wood. The program was founded in partnership with the North Bennet Street School in the North End, and there's still some possibility to use your elective time over at North Bennet if it suits your interests and transfer those credits back to your certificate at MassArt. So a little bit about the facilities at MassArt. We have an awesome wood shop. If anyone wants to come see it, that's definitely possible. We can give you a bit of a tour. We have saw stop table saws. We have 15 and 20 inch Laguna planer, so an 8-inch and 12-inch joiner. We have 5 band saws, chop saws, downdraft table, panel saw, routers and router table, 5 drill presses, steam box, a bunch of festool tools, fully stocked bench room. It's always advisable to start working on a set of your own hand tools while you're a student. But as you work up to your own full set, we have everything you need in the classroom. Everything is kept super sharp and tight, and the space is pretty expansive. There's a number of other studios on campus that you would gain access to through electives if you choose to do so. Many of the furniture certificate students like to get into welding or sometimes weaving. You can see our printmaking studio and ceramic studio here, amongst others. And we have some fab labs that are set to open in the coming year, new CNC. We have a bunch of 3D printers and laser cutters and all that stuff. So in the first semester, you'll take 2 classes, woodworking fundamentals and an elective. So the woodworking fundamentals is going to teach you how to do a lot of joinery by hand. You'll learn hand and machine skills. So full milling sequence, how to use every machine in our shop, and you'll learn a variety of different construction methods and apply it to your own final project at the end. The elective can be anything you choose. Here's a picture from our welding shop for an example. You move on from there to furniture 1. So you'll make a simple furniture piece the next semester, building in complexity from the previous semester. And you'll also take from concept to object, which is a design class and is meant to help you sort of develop your own voice as a furniture maker and designer. And you'll learn a lot about drawing and model making and form development and visual communication and important skills like that. And then you'll move on to furniture 2, again, building another project that moves forward in complexity in the same semester. You'll take applied techniques, which is one of my favorite classes and is sort of different every time we run it. But it typically takes, or in the last few runs of it, we've had 5 different faculty in it who all specialize in a different skill. And so things you might cover in this are steam bending or veneering and marquetry, bent lamination, turning, really specialized techniques. You'll sort of go through a series of those with different local experts. This one is always a super fun class. And then you will move on to your project development. You'll sort of think about what you want your final 2 semesters to look like. You'll do a lot of design work. You'll be paired. You'll have weekly cohort gatherings, but you'll be paired with a faculty mentor. So say your focus is in the wood shop, you'd probably have one of the wood faculty working with you one-on-one, but also there'd be an opportunity to work with a faculty member from the metal studio or something if your final direction, or say you wanted to do digital fabrication and like CNC work, you'd be paired with a different faculty mentor for that. But again, coming back with your cohort for weekly meetings. So there's a lot of opportunity to make your final project your own in the last few semesters. In this semester, you would also have an elective. This is a picture from the ceramic studio. And so I hope someone gets into making ceramics furniture. I feel like there's a lot of great ceramic furniture makers out there right now. It seems to be a current trend, so could be one of you. And then you will, in your final semester, work on your final project and bring it to fruition. Here's one of our recent graduates with his final project with everything but the glass top that goes on top. And so, oh yeah, and you'll also have a final show. This is a show that I curated with Mitch Ryerson a few years ago, and it held a number of capstone pieces for our furniture certificate students, plus included some pieces from other woodshop students at the school who were either in architecture or industrial design, and we had some faculty work in here as well. You can also see a wall of models. Model making is a big part of all of our practice, and a bunch of us really get into making these tiny pieces of furniture and saving them, and I really love them in their own right as pieces. So it was fun to put some together on the wall in this show. So yeah, and after your final semester, either at the end of that semester or the following, depending on what the cohort sort of decides to do, we'll have a big show to celebrate your success. This is yeah, I love this picture of the gallery filled with guests. It was a really fun night. So and I included some pictures of some alumni work. This is a chair by Joe Sheehan, and Joe is actually here. So he'll be able to, and Joe works in the program, has taught with Mitch, and is around on campus still now. So Joe can really answer a lot of questions about the program over the years since he was a student and what have you. This is a stool by Stephen Thrasher, another alumni who just graduated and is also here and will be able to answer questions. Here is another piece of furniture. We have another person. Whoops. Heather Dawson was one of the first graduates from the program. The first class was 3 women, and Heather was one of them. And this is her really like astonishing drafting table. It's like one of her first pieces of furniture, which is just wild. It's very good. And then this is a toboggan that Heather also made. This is steam vent. She made this with Mitch Ryerson, who's here, in a great class where a lot of steam bending was done. This is Joe. Another Joe that I'm drawing a blank on other Joe's last name. Someone else can fill me in. It'll come to me. But this is a cabinet of his. And here is a table. Richard and Erna's pieces from a few semesters back. Forgive my like weird photoshopping out of the like wood shop. So now they're just like floating. Liz Welch, another from the first cohort. This is a bench that Liz made. Here is a cabinet of Liz's. And here are some tables of Liz's. And I think that is all the images I have for today. Yeah, all of these alumni have gone on to do, well, some of them are brand new, just graduated this semester, but a bunch have been out for a while and have gone on to do some really cool stuff, either running their own studios and selling commission work, or making and selling pieces at shows like Craft Boston. Liz, whose piece is right here, just opened a ceramic studio actually in community space in Providence, but still does some studio furniture commissions on the side. And some people work in cabinet shops like Joe Sheehan, who's here. So there's a number of different directions the alumni have gone, but a lot of people have gone on to live really great creative lives and had creative careers. So anyway, I'll stop the screen share for now, but we can, as a group, answer any questions, unless Jackie or Brenna or anyone had anything else to say before we open it up for questions.
Not really, just that we can answer also, apart from the program questions, application questions. So we're here for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, let's see, we have something. Oh, Joe Brown. Thank you, Brenna. I almost said Brown and then I was like, that's not right. Okay, yeah, so those pieces were by Joe Brown.
If we don't have any questions, maybe the alumni or faculty could introduce themselves and talk about where they're at now.
Mitch, do you want to go first? I think you're muted.
Sorry, I'm pretty incompetent at this stuff, obviously. I have my own studio in Alston, where I do commissioned furniture work, and I also do a lot of public work, outdoor work. I do a lot of custom playgrounds, big crazy structures and sort of sculptural things around Greater Boston, which I've been doing for about 12 years or so. For a long time, I was doing basically just studio furniture. I graduated from the program in artisanry in 1982, and I had studied with Jerry Osgood and Alphonse Mattia there, and there were many other visiting artists, Tommy Simpson, and I mean, a lot of people. It was a very interesting time when a lot of the studio furniture people were sort of becoming part of the art world in a way, and there was a lot of cross-fertilization there, and it was a very exciting place. After that, after graduating in '82, I opened my own studio in Cambridge, and I basically had my own studio ever since. I was doing mostly commissions and gallery work for a long time, but then I got into this outdoor work, which I really like. But I love the teaching at MassArt. I've been there for about 12 or 13 years. I think Joe has been either my TA or in my classes pretty much the whole time. He's not quite the whole time, but And so he's really part of the team. And Annie too has been in the shop for forever and has always, she's really great to have there because she's always sort of pushing the envelope and thinking about wood in new ways. So I think we have a really great creative team, and I think it's really exciting to have people like Annie and Jackie and Lucinda who are really pushing this idea of making the certificate program into something much more professional and realistic and focused and logical, sort of a progression of curriculum. So I'm really excited to see this happening. I'm really excited to see all of you people who are interested in it. I think that it's really a great way for people of all levels to get introduced to it and to experiment and to use it as a creative medium. Whatever they can become professionals, or they can just do it for their own satisfaction. So it's very exciting.
Thanks, Mitch. Maybe Joe, do you have any?
Yeah, I can go. So I'm Joe Sheehan. I graduated in 2017, I think. And I have been working in and around MassArt ever since. As Mitch said, I've been TAing for him for a long time and starting to try and pick up my own classes. And yeah, as Annie said, I work professionally in a cabinet shop. We do high-end millwork and custom cabinetry. I also still do commission work through that shop for myself. So I think that's one of the cool things about this program is you can kind of get a really solid base and use it to do more than just furniture. If you want to, you can really go a lot of different directions with it. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got. Steven, do you want to talk a little bit about your time?
Sure. Mic check. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
So I'm Steven. I'm a recent grad. I think I graduated like 2 weeks ago. I started the program in 2017 and basically took one class at a time. A couple of semesters I took 2 classes, but mostly just one at a time. Took a couple semesters off. It was really flexible, which is what I was looking for in the program. I could keep my day job and keep working and then learn the furniture as I went, as I think all these certificate programs are designed for. I had a lot of fun. I focused on wood. Towards the end, getting interested in CNC work, which the shop has a Shaper Origin, which I haven't used. And I have access to another CNC machine, and they're standing up a digital design and fab lab across the hall from the wood shop, which I am looking forward to actually seeing if I can go and use that or be a shop monitor or a TA or something. I have a basement shop at home and I'm continuing to pursue that. And I have a part-time job and then I'm trying to get a few projects going.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of the maybe people who came in late? You missed a few things, but we're happy to answer questions and go over a few things.
Hi, are we supposed to raise our hand for a question? Oh. This is, I'm Diane, I'm sitting with Adam Sedgwick.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I came a few minutes late, so I apologize I was just curious about how many people start the program and things like that. Just that kind of the logistics of the program.
Can you say how many people started? Did anybody hear the question properly?
I think she was asking about how many people are like maybe interested in the program. I know I can talk, I don't know. I think when I started the first year, there was, like Annie said, there was 3 women who were the inaugural class of the program. And then I believe when I started, there was around 10 students. And then Stephen, I don't know if you remember how many students started in your cohort.
Yeah, I can just say that the cohorts are small, and so far they have been small, and they continue to be small so far. We did, as Annie said, revamp we are rethinking the program to make it a better program, just a better experience for everyone. And so we would like to, our goal is to have it be a bit more expansive, not huge, never be huge, but because you can't have a huge number in a shop at once. But it's a small program, so you get a lot of attention, that's for sure.
Yeah, the classes cap around 14, so it's hard to imagine that we'd be able to accept more than 14 in each starting class. But that being said, we haven't really had a class of a full 14 yet, so so there's still space for this fall for anyone who's interested.
When I came through, I think we started out with something like six new students. And when I graduated with 2 other people. So there was some tapering off, but also along the way that the classes are open to the community. So you also interact with a lot of architecture students, and there are continuing ed students who take some of the night classes for the furniture design. The class Joe's going to be teaching was taught by Peter Tebow, and we would have a full class. Probably about, yeah, most of the time I think it was pretty full, and so you wouldn't necessarily always go through with the same group of people. For example, I was taking it one class at a time, and I graduated with somebody who was taking 2 classes at a time. So he started later than I did, and then we graduated together. So there's all, this, because the program is so flexible, you rub shoulders with different people each semester, and then a few people you kind of go along with through the whole thing.
I think the classes have been, am I on mute? No. The classes have been very flexible and the program has been, especially in these chaotic last 2 years, has been adapting as we go along. And so we've done a lot of things to make it possible for people to continue, and they've been taking part in the day classes and sometimes, and it's, which has for my day classes, it's been a real asset for the classes to have them be part of it. And not everybody could do that, but so we've done a lot of things to try to facilitate it happen in the past. And I think that if we can get a cohort that would start together, that would be nice, and would be a real peer group. Even if people are coming in at different levels, which I think is sort of inevitable in this field. I think that happens a lot, and that is not a problem, I don't think. as so I think it's a good mix, which makes it very creative and exciting, basically.
Thanks, Mitch. I see that I hope that answered the question for Cedric. And there's another question here. Besides making furniture, from Elias, besides making furniture, what are other reasons why people join the program? I was interested in learning the skills to make musical instruments.
Well, yeah, aside from furniture, I'd say it's definitely possible for people that are interested in like wood sculpture and design and fine design, speculative design. Musical instruments are highly specialized. It kind of depends on what you're interested in. Like it would be pretty hard to come make violins or something like that in our shop or in this program. But if someone wanted to do something more experimental with musical instruments, there was Mitch, you probably remember years ago, Sampson, a Berkeley student, cross-registered and to Mitch's classes and was, you know, coming with a lot of knowledge as a musician himself. And he sort of invented some wood instruments that he made. And there was some room for that. But I'd say it would be if someone wanted to make instruments professionally and be like a luthier or something, that's probably a more specialized program. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. If you have more specific questions or want to say like what type of instruments you're interested in, I could maybe speak to that more so, but yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be really cool because I'd love to have you in the I do a lot of in the public parks that I do. I've done a lot of marimbas and percussion instruments, and they're fairly out of wood usually. I'm working on one right now. It's going to be on the Esplanade, and it's wood one side, and one side is the chimes, which are tubes, metal tubes. But I'm really interested in that kind of stuff, and it's pretty basic stuff, but it's really interesting physics involved too. I'd be really interested in having the other people here go around and just say something about themselves and what made them decide to come tonight or what interests them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I wonder, would you like to answer these questions first, or maybe while you're introducing yourself, you can ask your question. But Holly here doesn't have visual or audio on today, so we just want to, we can read Holly's question.
Oh yeah, there's one right before it too. Both are similar questions actually about North Bennet.
Do you want to answer?
Yeah, I can answer these first, and then anyone who is up for introducing themselves can certainly do that. But yeah, no pressure if people aren't up for it. So yeah, there's a question about, do we still have a relationship with North Bennet? And then also someone's interested in what North Bennet classes students have taken in the past. So that's a great question. There used to be 2 prerequisites that students would take at North Bennet before even being able to apply for the program, but that was an added cost and it's sort of a barrier to entry. And those classes are being run a lot less frequently at North Bennet since the pandemic. So we got rid of the prerequisites, and those skills are now put in the first semester with the fundamentals of woodworking class. The way the course sequence is now, oh yeah, and then also applied techniques used to be at North Bennet. There's been semesters where it's bounced back and forth from North Bennet to MassArt. We've had North Bennet faculty come teach that at MassArt. And So where it is now, North Bennet's continuing ed has changed a lot during the pandemic, but they're back online. We don't currently have any required classes at North Bennet, but during your elective space, you do have the option to take whatever it is that they offer. For example, if you want to take turning or something like that, that is not offered at MassArt, it may be offered it is offered at North Bennet. You could take it there. Since all of the classes for the certificate are 3 credits, what you would do, and the classes at North Bennet aren't don't have credits on their own. So what you would do is you would take any class at North Bennet that you're interested in, even if it's just a workshop or a series of workshops, and then you would have an independent study at MassArt, a faculty on record at MassArt, myself or someone else who would, advise you for the rest of the semester. So if you were to take a turning class at North Bennet, then you would come back to MassArt and work on a body of work based on what you had learned there, putting in enough work to flesh out your credit hours. So yeah, the way it currently stands, it's pretty flexible what people want to do at North Bennet, and if they feel like doing that or not, and it's sort of just like a case by case scenario. And we'll still continue to, I'm sure, pull from their faculty, and especially for applied techniques, have a lot of North Bennet faculty jump in for some of those highly specialized skills that we cover, like the marquetry and inlay and like the turning and what have you. There was also a question about, is it possible to take additional electives time-wise and tuition-wise? And so, yeah, I think you definitely can do that. Maybe someone from the PCE office can speak more to that part of it. About just like cost. I guess you can just register, you can take more classes, you just pay for them per class. And you can always take as many classes through PCE as you want. Do I have?
Exactly, Annie, you can take as many as you want, but if it's only what the program says you need, that's what you need. So those would not, they would be on your transcript, but not count towards your certificate.
There were several people who took additional electives, where there was I think somebody took a class with the forging metalworking, as an over and above the 2 elective requirement. And I took the capstone class essentially twice, to try to extend the time and work on my capstone project. I took a few classes at North Bennet. I can talk about them, but they weren't at the time. The ones that were related to the MassArt program were just the 2 intro courses that were prerequisites. So I took intro to machine woodworking with Ellen Casper and an intro to fine woodworking with Bob Miller. And then not for credit. I mean, I just as a, just to flesh things out, I took several classes over there. I took a bowl turning class. I took 2 carving classes. I took the Windsor chair class with Peter Galbert. So it was just, they were just over there and just to flesh things out. And I know a lot of people who were early on in the program actually have, like, if you check Heather Dawson's CV, she's got just this whole list of classes that she took just to flesh out just like all the techniques that she was learning and just rounding things out.
Yeah, as an added note to what Stephen was saying about taking as many classes as you want, I think one of the best parts about this program is that you can go as in depth as you want or as basic as you want. If you wanted to get really into a specific medium, I think that you could take like as many classes as you want in that medium. The only thing that would constrain that is time. I know for me, and I think for a lot of the students, 2 classes is a semester while you're working a full-time job is pretty much the limit. But I guess that would be up to you. I don't know, Stephen, what do you think about that?
I was trying to draw it out. So I would take a class and then I would put a lot of time into the class. So I would just take one at a time. That was just
Yeah.
that was my approach. I did take
Yeah.
two. So for example, I took the concept to object class. That was the first one that was required for my curriculum because I took the intro classes at North Bennet. So there's concept to object, and that's the only class I took that semester. And I deferred the history of furniture class with Barbara Ward until later in my program. But I did take Art of Furniture 1 alongside Applied Techniques. And that year, the Applied Techniques class was on Saturdays with Matt Wada. So Matt actually came from North Bennet and taught that class that semester. And I know that the syllabus for that and the instructors have changed since then and have, kind of spread out. They did bring, who were the teachers later? I know Heather taught, Paula Garbarino, I think, taught something.
I think
yeah,
Ellen taught.
Ellen Kasparian, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different people. Yeah, Paula, Ellen. I'm trying to remember who it was that taught the turning section, a North Bennet person. But yeah, Heather and I both taught in that. Yeah, Matt at one time. There's been a bunch of different people in it. A mixture of MassArt and North Bennet faculty.
Beth maybe taught it at North Bennet. Beth, I've forgotten her last name.
Maybe.
I think that it's really hard to do. I think what often people do is they do try to do too much at once. And I think if you can sort of focus the way Stephen did, I mean, and you can get more out of each class. I don't know if Joe would agree with that, but I think that it is as I'm sure you know or have heard, that it's a very labor intensive and very time consuming field. And so that I think it's really important to block out time for each semester to focus in order for it to be a really worthwhile experience. I think that is to your benefit. I'm not saying don't take two classes, but I'm saying that I would sort of advise against two studio classes. I mean, if you can take the history of furniture or something and a studio class, that might work. But I think that two studio classes at once, if you're working and you're trying to get into the shop and stuff, is really tough.
Yeah, I think for the majority of my time, my classes ran, like you said, Mitch, one studio class where I was building a piece of furniture and either the art of history or concept to object or like a couple other classes, some of my electives. But I don't know where your guys' experiences with building furniture is, but as a reference, most of my furniture took somewhere in the range of 100 to 150 hours of shop time. So I don't know, that's probably a lot too. I don't know, Mitch, would you say per semester?
Well, I think that this kind of working is not the most efficient and it's not supposed to be the most efficient. So I mean, in a cabinet shop, that number would not have been as high. But in a school
right,
shop,
but as learning,
you're learning and you're experimenting and you're making mistakes, which are all important to do, and so it takes longer.
right.
I still want to hear from other people. If I'm not going to let you get away without introducing yourselves.
If
Even
you want
if
to,
you're not in person or whatever on just like say something or text, add a chat line or something. What about where you're coming from and why?
Has anybody made furniture before, or why? What brings you to furniture? I think that's what Mitch is.
What I'll do is maybe I'll pause the recording, and maybe that would have people a little more comfortable.
Exciting to. I think it's been really exciting to see people coming to this, and I hope that it gives you food for thought, and that you will come and visit the shop. Either, I don't know, Annie, if over the summer it's pretty quiet, but Joe's has a class this summer, and in the fall things start to get crazy again, which is a good time to visit it when things are hopping. And also just, yeah, talk to Annie or Jackie or myself or Joe or Stephen and Brenna, and we can answer any questions.
Yeah, I don't know about Steven, but Jackie and Annie, feel free to give my number or email out to any of them if they have questions. They can just email me or text me directly.
Cool.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat, which is almeyer@massart.edu, and people can feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions. And yeah, we're still accepting applications for the fall for another month, so hopefully some of y'all will get on board. But yeah, if anyone wants to talk or come see the shop, I'll be there most of the summer, so we can definitely set up a time to show you around.
Yeah, just put in Joe Doucette. I'd like to put your email in there for them to ask you questions if they have any.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here for a second. So as Annie said, the application is still available. It's open until July 1st on our website, so you apply directly through the website. Just as a matter of fact, that July 1st deadline is a hard deadline because onboarding someone in a very short period of time to start in the fall takes a little bit of work. So, you should have plenty of time if you're interested in applying. You should be able to get everything together because the application is fairly minimal. All it is a statement of purpose. Just tell us why you want to be in the program, what your interests are, what you think you want to accomplish, introduce yourself, and high school transcripts. That's all you need. That's the only level of education you need to be in the program. Typically, people have a lot more. So, if you went to high school, graduated 20 years ago, and you can't get those transcripts, but you have your college ones, those will do. So just give us those instead of high school or whatever you can get your hands on, and add to the application. Like I said, the only bar is that you're a high school graduate, and that statement of purpose, and the rest of the application is pretty straightforward. Just filling in the blanks. So if you're interested and have questions about that app, Jackie uploaded my email to the chat. Feel free to shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to walk you through the app or just let you know what it takes to fill it out. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
I put my email in there too. Feel free to contact me. One other just little thing I would say is that if you're not sure whether you're interested in woodworking, but you think, like how far you want to go with it, I think that, but you want to experiment with it, I think this is a really good way to do that. And I also think that it's really interesting because it gives you a good view of the field in a way, because everybody around Boston, sort of all the different woodworkers and teachers and programs, they all sort of know each other. And you get to you get exposed to that world, and you get to know about what shops there are, and you get to know about like who's doing what. So I think it's a really good way to see what it's like, is I guess my point.
Yeah, we could take a class in the fall, the fundamentals of woodworking fundamentals in the fall, and see how you feel. So, well, we have the emails there. Please contact us if you have questions. Email is the best way to get to us, and all our emails are there. You can, if you remember one, you can just remember ce@massart.edu, because that way, that's where we can forward emails to whoever you, the right place, the right person, who your question is for. So, Annie, do you have anything to add, or should we call it a night?
I think we can probably call it a night.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. As Brenna said, that this is recorded, so we'll send it to you, and you can watch it again for fun. If you want to do that, and those of you who didn't come, of course, can watch it too. So thank you, thanks to everyone for coming, and have a good night. And hopefully we'll see you in our furniture classes.
Great. Thank you all.